Good evening, Manpreet. Welcome to this insightful session by Career Launcher. My name is Rupa. I'm a certified IELTS trainer with Career Launcher. So I welcome you to this insightful session, Manpreet. So we will just wait for some more time. We are just expecting some more participants. In the meantime, if you would like to ask any question, are you aware of the IELTS test format, Manpreet? You are aware, okay. Any questions you would like to ask? Because we will wait for a little while. Any questions you are wanting to ask, Manpreet? All right. So just allow me some time. We are expecting some more participants. We'll just wait for a few minutes and then start with the session. Okay? So, Manpreet, would you like to share some information with us? What are you doing currently and what are you intending to do? You can unmute and share the information. Where are you from and what are you doing?
Hello.
Yes, Manpreet, hi.
Hi. Ma'am, actually, I'm from Amritsar and I'm a physiotherapist. I'm currently working.
I
So,
think you were there in the last session also.
no, I wasn't there.
Okay, okay, all right.
Hmm.
Okay, so what are you intending to do, Manpreet?
Actually, वही आगे further study सोच रही हूँ for masters Canada और Australia if I get enough bands because healthcare में थोड़े like band का होता है ना issue.
Hmm.
बस वही उसके लिए I'm giving IELTS.
So,
तो
what is the band requirement
बैंड रिक्वायरमेंट मैम मुझे एटलीस्ट 7 चाहिए सब में.
overall? Sure.
Hmm.
Okay. So, have you taken the test before also?
Yeah, I gave it like 2 years back. तो तब मेरे स्पीकिंग में कम थे.
Okay.
स्पीकिंग में 5.5 थे, बाकी सब में देवर ओके. तो बस वहां से रह गया. तो फिर मैंने यहाँ जॉब ज्वाइन कर ली ना. दोबारा एक बार ट्राई कर लेते हैं.
Good, good.
या.
So it's good that you're aware of all the modules. So
हम्म.
yes, speaking actually, Manpreet, uh, requires a lot of, practice. Okay. So best is to practice on your own,
या.
right? Stand in front of the mirror. Okay.
हम्म.
Take up some topic and then speak yourself or record your own audio and listen to it. That is how you can improvise,
हम्म.
right?
या.
So speaking, you can improvise on your own. But yes, other modules you require a lot of practice. That is there.
हम्म. हम्म.
Yeah. So today we'll be basically covering listening. Today's session is on listening, but I was just waiting for some more participants. So I think we can start, or maybe just 2 more minutes we'll wait and then we'll
Yeah,
start.
sure.
Okay.
No problem, no problem. Mhm.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience.
Mhm.
So, did you take some formal training, formal coaching last time when you gave the test?
हाँ मैंने ली थी.
Acha, from where?
एक्सोरा है यहाँ पे अमृतसर में एक्सोरा एकेडमी.
Acha, okay.
वहाँ से. हम्म.
So basically, speaking may it happens that there's less of practice done in the coaching sessions,
हम्म.
right? So the candidate is not really very clear what you have to speak, how you have to speak. That is where, we
हाँ
go
जी.
wrong.
हम्म. बिल्कुल वही. एक तो कॉन्फिडेंस इशू यहाँ पे आई गेस आई लैक. बाकी तो एज सच इतनी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
How is your profession atmosphere? Do you get to communicate in English or what it is? Is it an
डिप
English?
ना इट डिपेंड्स कि सामने वाला कैसा है.
Acha.
हम्म.
The working environment is not really, uh, speaking in English. And so because that is also one factor, where
हम्म.
we lack. If you are using English in your everyday conversation, obviously,
हम्म.
you will get confidence. So now the only thing which you can do is, Manpreet, if you have someone at home, try to communicate in English with that member. Or the other way out is a recording.
हम्म.
As I told you, record your own audio, listen to it. How many times you fumbled, how many times you hesitated to speak some word, how many times there was a slip of tongue, right? How many times you took pauses or used fillers. Okay, try
या.
to improvise on that. Keep listening, keep recording, and keep listening to the same topic till the time you have a flawless recording.
हम्म. या
This
I'll
is
do
the
that.
only way.
हम्म.
Huh, this is the because when you speak in front of mirror also, you will not get to know what mistakes you made. It's only when you listen to your own recording, you will come to know that, okay, I went wrong over here. I used a wrong word over here. There you will get to,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's begin with the listening only, okay?
Okay.
So basically, as you know, listening is a 30 minutes test and you have to attempt 40 questions and there are three sections, right? Sorry, four sections, and you have 10 questions in each section, right? Each correct answer, for each correct answer, you get 1 mark. These marks are then converted into bands, right? Now, this is what actually IELTS means. It is the International English Language Testing System. It is basically designed to assess the English language ability of people who tend to study or work where English is the main language of communication. Now, why only English? Because English is the third most commonly used language, for communication. That is why it is a test of your English, how well you can understand, how well you can read, how well you can write. Okay. So basically, that is why you are tested upon all these four components, that is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. It is generally accepted in UK, Canada, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, and many parts of the USA. The test is offered in more than 500 locations in 120 countries. It is also conducted on 48 fixed dates in a year and 4 times a month. So basically, your result, as you know, is valid for 2 years. That is, you can keep using the same result for 2 years. Also, there is no pass or fail. Okay. You are awarded with a band. You already know that, which ranges between 1 to 9, right? And yes, a band somewhere between 6.57 to 9 is considered to be a good band. So this is the structure. Okay, right? So this is your structure. Listening is 30 minutes, reading is 60 minutes, writing is 60 minutes, and 11 to 14 minutes is speaking, right? So here, this is your structure. This is the detailed structure. Listening is 30 minutes, 4 sections, 40 questions. Reading 60 minutes, 3 sections and 40 questions. So precisely here, you will get three passages, okay, which are long passages of around 1,000 to 1,200 words each. And you will get around 13 to 14 questions in each section. Writing is a 60 minutes task in which you have two tasks. Okay, task one is report writing and task two is essay writing, in which you will have to write more than 400 words, right? Then is speaking. Speaking is an 11 to 14 minutes test in which there are three rounds, right? And it is a face-to-face interaction with your examiner, right? Okay, now test highlights, right? Now, basically, I'll just go through each one of them and I will like, keep explaining you what it means. So first one is it is used to evaluate, to assess your ability to understand a conversation, okay, or a speech, okay, and to draw conclusions or to answer the questions on the basis of what you hear, right? Uh, Now, in the IELTS test, you will be listening to the audio only once. There is no option available to pause it or to replay it or anything. It will be just played once, okay? And you would have to answer the questions while listening to the audio, okay? Of course, before you start writing, you will be given 30 seconds to go through your questions, right? Now, you should be using these 30 seconds very wisely. Just go through the question, try to predict what type of an audio you're getting to hear, right? Also, you can predict the answers so that you can focus on the audio. Pay special attention to the words before and after the blank so that you know what is going to come in the blank, whether a name is going to come in, whether a number, a telephone number, address, what is going to come in that blank. Okay, you get a, you get an idea, fair idea, what is going to come and what type of an audio you are going to get to hear. Okay. Now you get to hear four recordings, right? Two are general in nature, first and second, and third and fourth are academic. So in first audio, you will get to hear a conversation between two people, which is going to be on a general everyday topic. It can be a conversation between the speaker and the customer care agent, okay, in which the speaker can be checking about, asking about some information, let's say, train timings, hotel booking, uh, bank account opening, travel plan, something like this. Okay. Second is a monologue, which is again going to be a general in nature. In the round two, you can be shown a map or something in which there are going to be blanks. So you need to fill up those blanks, okay, by listening to the audio. Third and fourth are academic, as I told you. Third is a conversation between two, three, or four people, okay, on an academic topic. So you can expect three, four students talking to each other, okay, and discussing some project of theirs or some topic, anything, or it can be a teacher guiding her students also, right? Fourth is again an academic audio in which you will get to hear a speech, a talk, right, on some academic topic. Now, if you're giving your test on the paper, okay, that is, if you've selected the paper-based mode, you get 10 minutes extra at the end to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. You need to be very careful while transferring your answers to the answer sheet, right? Uh, you need to be careful about the spelling mistakes, the question number, everything, right? You can just go through these once if you want to, then I will change the slide. Okay, so listening test, as I told you, determines your ability to understand the spoken English. It assesses how good you are at understanding key ideas and precise factual information, identifying the tone and emotion, opinion, outlook, and the purpose of the speaker. This is an overview of your listening test. Just have a look at this. These are certain tips which you should keep in mind. Okay. And firstly, I want to tell you this also, that you get to hear different types of accents. Okay. You will get to hear a variety of accents. It can be American, British, Canadian, Australian, right? So you need to familiarize yourself with all kinds of accents. How you can do is, you can do it by listening to podcasts, BBC Radio, TED Talks, right? Okay, so you can just go through these tips, predict the topic, predict the questions, use a minute to look through each section. Just go through it, then I will explain it to you. Just quickly go through it. So look out for paraphrasing. Now, what is paraphrasing? Do not expect that whatever you listen in the audio, okay, you will get to hear the same words. There would be paraphrasing. That is, there can be different words which mean the same can be used. Okay. So ignore words you don't know. Okay. Do not get stuck at some word which you don't know. You can just ignore, just try to find out the context in which it is being used. Underline keywords. Take care with the spelling and grammar. Read the instructions. You can use either uppercase or lowercase letters. Okay. And get used to the various kinds of accents. These are the various types of questions which you get in the listening. This is the band score conversion table. Okay. So, which means this is your raw score. If you get 39 to 40 correct, you get a band 9, 37 to 38, 8.5, and so on. These are some FAQs. Please go through them. So then there are multiple choice questions. Okay. Now in this you can be asked to answer pick up one option or maybe more than one option. That will be given to you in the instructions. So you need to be very careful while reading the instructions, right? Now multiple choice questions can be a little confusing, right? Because to confuse the candidate, uh, there is a mention of all the options in the audio, but you have to listen to it carefully and figure out which option can be the correct option. Just have a look at this. Okay, this is a practice question. Okay. I'll play the audio and you can write the answers.
Part 2. You will hear part of a talk to a gardening club about a local park. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
I'm very pleased to welcome this evening's guest speaker, Mark Logan, who's going to tell us about the recent transformation of Minster Park. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you. I'm sure you're all familiar with Minster Park. It's been a feature of the city for well over a century and has been the responsibility of the City Council for most of that time. What perhaps isn't so well known is the origin of the park. Unlike many public parks that started in private ownership, as the garden of a large house, for instance, Minster was some wasteland, which people living nearby started planting with flowers in 1892. It was unclear who actually owned the land, and this wasn't settled until 20 years later, when the council took possession of it. You may have noticed the statue near one of the entrances. It's of Diane Gosforth, who played a key role in the history of the park. Once the council had become the legal owner, it planned to sell the land for housing. Many local people wanted it to remain a place that everyone could go to enjoy the fresh air and natural environment. Remember, the park is in a densely populated residential area. Diane Gosforth was one of those people, and she organised petitions and demonstrations, which eventually made the council change its mind about the future of the land. Soon after this, the First World War broke out in 1914, and most of the park was dug up and planted with vegetables, which were sold locally. At one stage, the army considered taking it over for troop exercises, and got as far as contacting the city council, then decided the park was too small to be of use. There were occasional public meetings during the war, in an area that had been retained as grass. After the war, the park was turned back more or less to how it had been before 1914, and continued almost unchanged until recently. Plans for transforming it were drawn up at various times, most recently in 2013, though they were revised in 2015 before any work had started. The changes finally got going in 2016 and were finished on schedule last year.
All right, so I'll just show you the answers. These are the answers. You can check your answers if you have attempted it. Manpreet, have you attempted?
Yes, ma'am. I got 2 right, 2 wrong.
Okay, what about Khagesh?
I'm 2 rights.
2 right? Okay. All right, then it's map labeling questions in which you will be shown a map and you will have to label the various rooms maybe, okay, while listening to the audio. There will be all the instructions will be given to you in the audio, okay, and you have to strictly follow the instructions so that you go right. These are the various words which can be used. These are the various words which are used, okay? Now, this is the type of map which you will get, okay? You also need to pay attention to the information or what the features which have been mentioned, okay? Like the highlight ones. So, paying attention on this helps you to locate the answer quickly, okay? Suppose you've viewed all of this and the audio says next to the community hall. So at once you can look at the community hall to find the answer. Okay, so this is one practice question. You can attempt it.
You will hear an audio guide to a public library. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Welcome to the Selmore Public Library, which has just been reopened after major refurbishment. This tour will introduce you to the building and its services. At any time, you can stop the tour. We enter by the cafe, and our tour begins at the issue desk. If you stand between the information desk and the issue desk and look at the opposite wall, you will see shelves of books in the left-hand corner. This is where you will find a large number of novels and short stories. They are arranged alphabetically. If you are looking for something in particular and it's not on the shelf, you can reserve it. The next area, directly opposite the issue desk, is a section where people can study. The library provides computers for users free of charge on the next floor, beside the reference books. But this area is for people to use their own laptops. You should ask for the internet passcode at the information desk. In the right-hand corner of this floor, there is a cafe. A selection of daily newspapers is always available there, but you can also take magazines into the cafe to read while you have a drink. You will find these on the racks to the left of the cafe, and there is a large selection. They are for reference only and cannot be borrowed, but you are welcome to photocopy any articles of interest. We ask you to return them when you have finished. You are not allowed to take fiction or any other books from the shelves into the cafe. Next to the cafe is the exit door leading to the stairs and escalator to the other floors. The largest collection of books in the library is fiction, and the next largest is non-fiction, which is in the corner of this floor opposite the cafe. These can all be borrowed, as opposed to the reference books on the next floor, most of which cannot be taken out of the library, but they can be photocopied. There are several photocopiers available for this purpose downstairs in the basement. To one side of the issue desk is a door leading onto a gallery. This was added to the library as a public space where talks are given once a week on a Saturday by visiting authors of both fiction and non-fiction. It also houses the biography section. There are notices advertising the talks in the study area. Any books that you want to borrow should be taken to the issue desk. Before we leave this floor, I will give you some information about using the library. There are also helpful notices by the information desk.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to
These are the answers. Then there are completion type questions. Again, there is a word limit which you will have to keep in mind, which is given to you in the instruction before the question as to how many words you can use to answer the question. So you have to strictly adhere to that word limit, right? So small words like a or an are also counted. Okay, so be very careful while using your words to answer the question. These are the tips. So this is a completion type question. Try to attempt it.
Section 1. You will hear a woman talking to a man who works in a tourist information office. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good morning. Can I help you?
I hope so. I have a friend in Spain, and her 2 daughters are coming to the city to study for a month. So I thought the Tourist Information Center was the best place to ask about hostels. Can you recommend any?
Of course. I usually suggest one of the Hosteling International places. HI West End is a big hostel in a residential area, but is only 10 minutes from downtown if you take a bus. It's really popular.
The journey time is by bus, so bus has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Morning. Can I help you?
I hope so. I have a friend in Spain, and her 2 daughters are coming to the city to study for a month. So I thought the Tourist Information Center was the best place to ask about hostels. Can you recommend any?
Of course. I usually suggest one of the Hosteling International places. HI West End is a big hostel in a residential area, but it's only 10 minutes from downtown if you take a bus. It's really popular.
Okay, sounds good. I need to know how much it costs. The girls want a double room to themselves. They don't want to share with other people.
That makes it more expensive. The price is under $30 for a bed in a dormitory, but they'll be paying $50 a night. But if they become members of Hosteling International, the price comes down to $41 a night. Membership costs $35.
Right.
And membership offers them benefits too on all kinds of activities.
Oh, what kind of things?
Skydiving and whitewater rafting, things like that.
I don't think they're interested in that kind of thing. If they become members, will they get cheaper entrance tickets to museums?
Oh, yes. And also discounts on bicycle and car hire.
Okay, it's probably worth it. Is the hostel very noisy? They're coming here to do some studying.
I think it is quite noisy as it's a really big hostel. And if they want to use the internet, this hostel still makes a charge, unfortunately.
Oh.
It's $1 for 15 minutes and $3 for an hour.
It might not be ideal for them. What else can you recommend? Is there anything in a quiet area?
There's Elliscote Hostel.
How do you spell that?
ELLISCOAT.
I've never heard that name before. And where is that?
It's on the beach looking over the bay. Here, look on the map.
Oh.
It's quiet, but not far from Dragon Island. There's plenty going on there in the evening.
Oh, that's a nice area. And if they want to go to Dragon Island, it only takes a couple of minutes to walk down to the ferry. So how much is a room there?
It's in such a nice spot that the rooms are a bit more expensive. They're $62.
Does that include any meals?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
It is possible to buy meals in the hostel at a reasonable price, but because it isn't very busy in the winter, they only cook in summer.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Oh, I think I know the place you mean. It's an old building, isn't it?
Yes, it's well known as it's one of the oldest in the city. There's been a hotel there since 1887 when it was first built. It was turned into a hostel in 1985, and they've invested a lot of money restoring it inside.
They'd like that. But I'm just looking on the map at where their college is. It's right in the center. It is a bit far for them from there.
The hostel actually has scooters for hire at a very good price, so they could do that. It would be quicker than cycling or walking to the center.
It is a bit expensive, but it sounds like the best one so far, unless there's something a bit cheaper.
Okay, well, what about the Backpackers Hostel? That's not so expensive. It's in a side street in the entertainment district. They wouldn't need to go far to find everything they want. They could walk everywhere, and it's very reasonable. Only $45 and another $5 if they want to have breakfast.
But what about other meals?
There's no cafe, but on each floor in this hostel, there's a kitchen for residents to cook in.
Oh.
I'm not sure how well equipped they are, but it should be fine for basic meals.
Well, that's really very helpful. I'll pass all this information on now.
Do ask your friends to ring me if they need to know anything else.
I will. Thank you.
These are the answers. So we also have to be very careful about the similar sounding numbers, that is 13, 30, 14, 40. Okay, we need to listen to them very carefully so that we do not make any mistake, right? So we need to be very aware of the proper pronunciation as well. Hundreds and thousands, okay? There are different ways to tell time also. Okay, so Manpreet and Khagesh, I request you to kindly fill up this form for the link for which I have shared in the chat box. Please, I'm waiting for you. Kindly do it. Thank you so much. Decimals. Now, in paper base, you need to write the letters, but in computer delivered test, you can just drag the right answer and put it in the box. Okay, this is another question which is matching type. You need to match this with this, okay?
Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
So now let me tell you about some of the activities that your child can do during the after-school sessions. As well as being able to use the playground equipment, computers, and the library, there is usually at least one special activity that children can do each day. For example, Spanish. We have a specialist teacher coming in every Thursday to give a basic introduction to the language through games and songs. She does 2 sessions, one for the over 8s and one for the younger children. This is the only activity which we have to make an extra charge for, but it's well worth it. Once a week, the children have the opportunity to do some music. We're very lucky that one of our staff is a member of a folk band. On Mondays, she teaches singing and percussion to groups of children. We do rely on parental support for this, so if any of you sing or play an instrument and would be prepared to help out at these sessions, we'd be delighted. Painting continues to be one of the most popular activities. To begin with, we weren't keen on offering this because of the extra mess involved, but But children kept asking if they could do some art, and so we finally gave in. Art is great for helping the children to relax after working hard at school all day. Yoga is something that we've been meaning to introduce for some time, but haven't been able to find anyone available to teach it. Until now, that is. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, children will benefit in all sorts of ways from this. Cooking is another popular activity. They make a different sort of cake or pizza or bread each week. Although the younger children love doing it, we found that the mess was just too much. So we've decided to restrict this to the over 8s, as they are better able to clean up after themselves.
These are the answers. Okay, we need to be careful about the signposting language also. Okay, now this is the language which is used in the beginning, okay, of the audio or anything, right? So in this, from the signposting language, we get a lot idea what we are going to hear in the audio, right? Signposting language can be, now we will be listening to a conversation between so and so about the project they have made. So from this we come to know, we get an idea, a fair idea about what the audio is going to be all about. This is a flowchart completion type question. You can attempt it.
3. You will hear 2 tourism students called Natalie and Dave talking about the tourism case study they are doing. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Dave, I'm worried about our case study. I've done a bit of reading, but I'm not sure what's involved in actually writing a case study. I missed the lecture where Dr. Baker talked us through it.
Okay, well, it's quite straightforward. We've got our focus. That's tourism at the Horton Castle site. And you said you'd done some reading about it?
Yes, I found some articles and made notes of the main points.
Did you remember to keep a record of where you got the information from?
Sure, I know what a pain it is when you forget that.
Okay, so we can compare what we've read. Then we have to decide on a particular problem or need at our site. And then think about who we're going to interview to get more information.
Okay, so who'd that be? The people who work there? And presumably some of the tourists too?
Yes, both those groups. So we'll have to go to the site to do that, I suppose. But we might also do some of our interviewing away from the site. We could even contact some people here in the city, like administrators involved in overseeing tourism.
Okay, so we'll need to think about our interview questions and fix times and places for the meetings. It's all going to take a lot of time.
And if we can, we should ask our interviewees if they can bring along some numerical data that we can add to support our findings.
And photographs?
I think we have plenty of those already. But Dr. Baker also said we have to establish with our interviewees whether we can identify them in our case study
or whether they want to be anonymous.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. Okay, once we've got all this information, I suppose we have to analyse it.
Yes, put it all together and choose what's relevant to the problem we're focusing on, and analyse that carefully to find out if we can identify any trends or regularities there. That's the main thing at this stage, rather than concentrating on details or lots of facts.
Okay, and then once we've analysed that, what next?
Well, then we need to think about what we do with the data we've selected to make it as clear as possible to our readers. Things like graphs or tables or charts.
Right.
Then the case study itself is mostly quite standard. We begin by presenting the problem and giving some background, then go through the main sections. But the thing that surprised me is that in a normal report, we'd end with some suggestions to deal with the problem or need we identified. But in a case study, we end up with a question or a series of questions to our readers, and they decide what ought to be done.
Oh, I hadn't realised that.
These are the answers. So you can check your answers. Okay. So that is all about listening. Okay. Now, if you have any question, you can ask me about listening if you have any question. All right, so coming to live classes, we have around 30 hours of live classes. We also provide you with the comprehensive study material. Then there is an online practice module with 700 questions. Then there are group review classes with mock analysis. Also, there is feedback and performance analysis by the faculty. You would also have access to the recording of the classes. In case you're not able to attend the class or anything, you can see the recording. There is also a dedicated Telegram group for doubts. Then there is free admission consulting, and our batches start every week. This is the number where you can contact and get in touch, okay, in case of any query. All right. So this is it from my side. If you want to ask anything, both of you, you can ask me. Any questions? All right, so, okay, that's great. So if you do not have any question, we can end the session over here. Okay, thank you so much. Wish you all the best and good night. Bye-bye.